This art process is lengthy indeed, so let's get right to it. One of the unique things about these magnets is that they double as magnets as well as wall hanging art. I make this thick gesso-like texture to decorate the magnets, give them a more finished look, a more polished look, some uniqueness. It's nice to have all that texture giving the magnets more richness. Throughout the years, I have painted these different images that you see here. I've scanned them or photographed them, edited them, and printed them accordingly to include them, to use them for these magnets. You can do the same and add your art or images that you like. Paste it on a board of some sort. Now it's time to start adding texture, my favorite part of this whole project. When I add this texture, I don't think about it too much. I kind of just try to go with the flow and feel it out. I kind of feel out the background, the image, the wood, and basically anything you do will look good. And if you don't like it, if I don't like it, I just wipe it all off, start all over, or just take off the bits that I don't like. When the texture dries, it's time to paint. I usually start with a thicker coat of whatever color and water it down when I get close to the image, protecting the image as I go. At the end of all of this, I think I end up with about 4 coats. I also make some washes, and once the bottom layer dries up, I add washes of different colors, whatever I think feels right, looks good. Once I'm happy with the colors underneath, then I began to add lighter colors on top or highlights. It depends. If I put light colors underneath, then above I'll put darker colors, and if I put darker colors first, then I will finish it off with brighter highlights. It all depends. I keep at it until I really like the way it looks. When I make these, my goal is to make about 50 to 100 at a time. Usually it'll take me anywhere from 3 to 5 days. Sometimes I highlight the whole border, sometimes just the edges. I use old weird brushes to achieve a funkier look. These here are old pieces that I'm readdressing. Sometimes I don't finish them, or for some reason they don't sell, so I bring them back to the table and add color or add something to them, make them look more, make them pop. Many of these end up becoming some of my favorite pieces. After all the painting is done and the pieces are dry, I add a layer of texture gel. I love using this gel because it gives so much richness and For me, it gives it a much more interesting look, a lot more uniqueness. Plus, it needs it for protection. Without this, the resin would just bleed through the paper into the wood. Now they're ready for the trickiest part, the part where we're gonna add the resin. I usually ask the resin, please resin, go where I want you to go. Doesn't always do it, but usually it does. So I place them with little pieces of wood underneath. This way they don't stick to the wood. And then I put a piece of plastic in case they do. It doesn't rip out the wood, it just peels off the plastic. So then I just kind of let myself go and add the resin quickly with a spoon, sometimes with a knife. It kind of depends. Once it starts to move, then I know where to pull it out here and there. I don't like adding the whole coat. Well, sometimes I do. I have added like a whole even layer throughout the top, but I kind of like actually I really like the shiny parts and the matte parts contrasting with one another. I like the way the light hits the resin at a certain angle and all that texture that you get, especially when the resin works with this texture and kind of gives you like this 3D effect. It's really nice. Torch for a smoother look. Takes the resin about 24 hours or more to dry. It also depends on the weather. Once that's dry, I paint the backs. And I paint and paint and paint and wait for them to dry. So I usually cut little pieces of leather, and that works pretty well. And cut away. I love this part too. I clean the magnets because sometimes they have a little bit of oil on them, and then I score the area where I'm gonna place the magnets. Then I put a little dab of glue where I scored it, and some glue on the leather hangers. I glue everything, wait for it to set a little. After it sets, that's when I sign it. And here you are, here are the finished magnets. Thanks so much for taking a look at this process. It's taken me years to evolve it to this. I'm thinking of making a video with first types of magnets I made, and then the whole progression of what they are now, or how they evolved. Thanks again. Don't forget to subscribe and come back and visit me. Okay, bye.